Welcome to Happiness and the City with Barbara. And today we'll focus our attention on a very important topic, and that is audience. Because of diversity of people who are involved with internet, we have to have sophisticated knowledge about the nature of diverse audiences that are connected to media, newspapers, social media. There is a very interesting discussion today about content that diverse people put. But when you look historically, every country on earth has a very specific audience, and then within every country there are diverse audiences for diverse products and productions and movies. When you look at Wikipedia, there is a wonderful definition of what an audience is. An audience is a group of people who participate in a show. You can read it with me. In a show or encounter a work of art, literature in which they are called readers, theater, music in which they are called listeners, video games in which they are called players, or academics in any medium. Audience members participate in different ways in different kinds of art. Some events invite overt audience participation, and others allowing only modest clapping and criticism and reception. So right here in this complex definition, you have the participants of interaction, which is the audience and the diverse works that the audience encounters and participates in. When vision for social media was created, it assumed diversity of audiences from all countries of the world, from all social groups within every country. And the concept of internet involved very sophisticated interaction between audience and content, because audience on internet can become creator and interact with creators of works of art, and vice versa. Various artists, creators of art can interact and participate directly with the audience. At the same time, social media became a library and playground for all kinds of content creation. So fundamentally, internet is a new way to connect works of art, music, games, any medium content with the audience. And we have to understand that the difference between what was before internet and today is as important as it was when printing was invented in medieval times, because before printing, every work of literature, everything that was artistic had to be hand painted, handwritten, and couldn't be easily reproduced, because there was no means of reproduction except rewriting it in another copy. Printing changed this. And a book written by one author could be printed in huge numbers of copies. We have that situation with the Bible. Bible became accessible to almost everybody who could afford buying it or who had access to it in churches. And after all of those centuries, we have a new medium, internet, and it is a platform. And the platform allows audiences from the entire earth to express themselves and or connect to things they want to view, to interact with, to comment on. So any discussion about internet has to understand the nature of audience participation on internet. There is a lot of discussion today about some of the content that is put on internet, but the focus shouldn't be on internet as a platform, because this is this huge marketplace that allows access. The interaction should be with particular content without any damage done to the platform of internet, because that kind of damage would destroy content that is put by people in good faith for good purposes. But also, we have to understand one vital thing about internet. What is preferable by one type of audience is rejected by another type of audience. So today, we have a situation in which in one place, diverse kinds of audiences have opportunity to interact with each other. Diverse kinds of producers, actors, writers, filmmakers have an opportunity to interact with each other and with the audience. And in this situation, diverse audiences realize they have completely different ideas about politics, economic, social virtues. They have different ideas about what is social virtue, what is a vice. And in this particular situation, we have to create peace-making measures and connections so that people tolerate diverse views without banning each other and without destroying the very platform that allows this magnificent, majestic communication accessible to all members of mankind. And I think that in order to understand why content is so diverse, we have to understand diversity of audiences, because there is a very painful desire for diversity on the internet, and as soon as diversity shows up, there is attack on it. So I think that the concept of diversity may not be the best to apply to a platform like all the social media platforms on internet. Internet is the super platform, because by very nature, internet allows everybody to access it. By very nature, internet is diversity itself. And that's why it's so loved, because anyone can have an email, anyone can comment, anyone can put videos, anyone can watch other people's videos, learn from it, develop skills. So we have to develop sophisticated thinking about internet audiences, and then what we need is to develop peace measures so that diverse people on internet have peaceful attitude to each other. They don't have to love each other, They don't have to hate each other, but to have this peaceful understanding and tolerance of each other's views and outputs. I have been a long time on this earth, and I have changed my views on many matters as new information came, and I realized that some of the things I was taught before were not very high quality, but that was all my teachers knew, and I respectfully learned it and then believed it was true, and then better information came in, and I realized that that was actually an error. And I gave you an example last week about Louis XIV, because one of my requests to God is to heal beauty and splendor around me that was damaged during a very bad car accident years ago. So as God is leading me to faith in this area, He's showing me His splendor in the heritage of God's presence on earth. And that's new information to me. I was taught that Louis XIV was this bad king because he was an absolutist monarch. Wow. But then he did those amazing things, like invented ballet, created incredible buildings, taught people from diverse regions of France how to interact with each other in a chivalric way and live peacefully with each other. There were many other amazing things he did. So as I learned new information, also in the light that Holy Spirit let me see it, I changed my views. Because now I see Louis XIV as this great king who loved France, who was blessed with magnificent vision and created legacy that till this day people in France and then those who are visiting France enjoy, in Versailles and his contribution to Louvre and many other places. So that was information that came to me on internet, and now it transformed my vision, and I believe God is in the process of healing all of the damage that was done in my image because of that past tragedy. So when you see what is happening on Twitter, and there is today a huge conflict between some Russian news organizations and American Congress, and the problem is not bad will of Russians. The problem is that there's no peace connection between the government of United States of America and other governments, because the way the governments operated in the past was when that amazing platform of internet was not invented. So there's just need to develop ways in which people are patient with each other's expression in view of new way of communication that in fact created enormous peace on earth. There has never been communication peace on earth today as it is today. This is an opportunity for people from any country to instantly connect with others, to develop friends, to develop knowledge about each other, to clarify things. So the core of social media is magnificently peacemaking. On the margins, there is need to create measures that would continue developing peaceful relationships between people who disagree with each other, who are diverse audiences. So we have a situation in which governments participate in social media. We have former president of the United States who was active on social media. And for me it was incredibly exciting because here's direct connection to authority in office that allows contribution of ideas and concerns. And today this is continued with the current administration. There are senators and congressmen on the internet. I'm fascinated to read what they say, to read the comments. This has never been like this before. Before I had to rely only what official media would say. So the governments also became audiences and participants, and participant audiences in a complex way. They participate in the internet, but they're also audiences, and they have their audiences. So you see the multidimensionality of that communication, but it is intuitively understood. It's very easy to teach everybody how to write 140 letter tweet, how to retweet, how to like, and there are other opportunities on Facebook and Google Plus and Instagram and LinkedIn and many other amazing situations. So Twitter is just one of those. So in the conflict between Twitter and Google Twitter, Google, Facebook, and others, and the U.S. Congress, I would say that the need is to develop peace measures for the organization of internet as it is, not to overregulate it because that would damage its nature. Even regulation would damage its nature because then it would limit access, and limiting access right there creates restraint on free speech and on this amazing opportunity for people from all over the world to develop connections with each other and to develop ways to tolerate each other in a peaceful way. So you see yourself how the concept of audience in the context of social media is an amazing way to focus our attention, to develop ways in which audience becomes aware that this new platform for social communication, which is internet super platform and all the platforms on the internet, all the websites, that this needs to be treasured. And when there is this understanding of all countries that this is key to any conversation about what is happening with some of the communications. Let's take example of Russia Today. It is a very professionally run organization supported by Russian government. Now, American government doesn't have media like that. So we have in America only private organizations that supply information. So the conflict is between the nature of political communication in Russia and the nature of political communication in America. Now, America comes up with this amazing internet and access to everybody in mankind to participate. Of course, Russia Today is going to jump in on that beautiful ship because it's an opportunity of free speech that until recently Russian journalists couldn't experience. So, in order to solve the problem without hurt feelings and brokenness and broken connections, we have to look at the nature of communications on internet is so different from anything that was before that it doesn't make any sense to apply Cold War measures on what is by definition platform that allows peace to anybody in the world, to anybody from mankind. It's by definition peace promoting technology. So in order for that conflict around the political influence between American Congress and Russia today, or Russian government, we have to create ways of peace that clarify what is desired and what is not desired without attacking, without destruction. Someone can say from American Congress, way to focus on American politics is to identify the source of information. So when somebody sees that an ad is from Russia, then they will understand it. But to ban it would also ban American presence in elections of other countries. So that would be limiting on America too. So I think that we can have peaceful ways to deal with diversity of audiences that participate in social media and all websites, and that we can develop ways to converse about certain things that seem to be causing conflict, but that should be limited to particular audiences. It shouldn't involve all the audiences on internet, because frankly, most people on internet, they don't even care about particular countries and elections in particular countries. They prefer their interests. I know many people who are on internet and they favorite things are stories about animals, cats, dogs. They would sit for hours watching this. They don't even pay attention to other things. Every country on earth has political systems that involve selection of candidates, and we can learn about how to deal with this issue. But frankly, when there is election in any country, I am interested in what other countries that are not involved directly with that particular election think about it and the candidates. For me, that's interesting. It has nothing to do with some sort of weakness to obey the commands from those countries. I'm just interested what they think about that candidate or that candidate from their point of view. And especially in a country as the United States of America that is viewed by many other countries as a beacon of hope. So when internet came to manifestation and people from all over the world understood that they can have this amazing audience participation and become creators, that became tremendously passionately welcomed all over the world, because nothing like this ever existed. And now we have a lot of sophistication. There are some problems, of course. I have diverse audiences when I select people I follow or I like. I like to listen to diverse points of view, and I often disagree with many of those points of view, but we agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything we read or we hear or we view, but it still has educational significance, and It teaches us how to peacefully love our neighbors, even though they are so different from us. So today, as I just so honored to be able to have that contribution on internet to understanding of how to improve the peace measures between diverse members of mankind, I think that we should continue to look at internet as world's treasure that is primarily managed by the United States of America, and that creates a special noble responsibility for America to ensure that this beautiful organization of internet is beacon of learning, access to audiences, access to great science, art and music, and that it shows us how to teach mankind peaceful business connections and political connections, and that includes governments of all countries of the earth learning how to coexist on internet without banning each other. So thank you so much for your attention, and may God bless internet and internet audiences and participants.